Alrighty. See how well this will work tonight. Can get the cat calm over here because it's kind of a stressful end of the day there. I had to get him out. Clinicy kind of bored. On Tuesdays and Wednesdays they close early at 6. Unfortunately, today it was over 90 degrees. So this car was an oven. It hadn't cooled down much. I ran the air conditioner for a while, but he was still kind of overheated when he got out here. So, and he's still stressed out. So on the quest to maintain, we get something up here, something going on the channel on a daily basis. We're gonna try and get something going here right now. You can ask me any questions or whatever, and we'll get this going over here as a support. And what we got here? Up, and Daniel's in first. Yep. Gotta get tablet hooked up here. So I'm not looking clear across the thing at the phone here. There. All right, there we go. What is that? I did that already. Alrighty. And yeah. I think there's a certain element, well, let's see. Yeah. No, I hate to be stepping all over Jesse's right now, but I gotta eat too, so. Where's my channel? Oh no, wait, there we go. What? Get out of that phone after. And here we go. Hold on that. One of these days I need to rig up something to brace up this thing. Okay. Well, I suppose we can probably blather a bit about well, it's kind of why everyone's bitching and moaning about Game of Thrones. So what the hell? That's not what I wanted. Get back in. Let's try that again. That is wrong. Why this thing does what it does, I don't know. Okay. Okay. Just sort of ignore that thing. All right. Okay, and turn down the volume so I'm not confused on that one. Yeah. Well, I don't know. The photos are nothing that new. You've seen already. The big thing with those, one with the Starfleet logo and the little split thing, they're working in Discovery, so like, nope, already a non-starter right there. The uniforms you're seeing so far are not very well fitted. I mean, this would be a real case of where most cosplayers will have better uniforms than what they have on the damn show. Or at least, no worse. They're just baggy. They look bad. And considering like these things supposedly come out of a replicator, there's no excuse for that. Unless there's some kind of new thing for furry or baggy uniforms. Proper Jeremy's not following me back on Twitter. Okay. Apparently, yeah, because they're using that same little split through the insignia logo thing. And that follows in them, think, look, if they reference Discovery at all, and it's like, no, sorry. Because Discovery has totally invalidated itself from canon just by the way it did, And just by the nature of the production, they have put themselves in a position where it cannot be reconciled with the established show, the established canon. So you don't need any kind of proclamation of this is canon, that's an alternate timeline. No, they have made themselves, irreconcilable with the established show. And you got, other series that always reference back to the original series, and that's what it was. That is what the Enterprise looked like. That's what the interior, so the bridge looked like. So for Discovery to come along and try and say, oh, this is what it really... No, that's not what it really looked like. There's the cat again. So that's why I did at least one video on this where Discovery just completely invalidated any claim it had to be in canon. I don't give a rat's ass who says it. It was, Kurtzman or whoever's in charge of CBS. Oh, it's canon. It's its own canon. You cannot match this up. So, no. And if they're referencing back to it, guess what? Then this show is not canon either. But it kind of goes back to, why are we complaining so much? It's just a TV show. Well, it kind of goes to, like Doomcock was saying, these are our modern myths. And they need defending. They need to be maintained and passed on. And there's also a tendency of, if we're being entertained, then yeah, we'll forgive a lot. Well, like the original series, yeah, there were weird things that happened in the original series, but they were entertaining stories that still meant something. So we'll forgive some of the screws on there. If we're not being entertained, then every little mistake gets pounced on. Game of Thrones was not particularly, entertaining this year. So somebody leaves a coffee cup on a table. That's it. You're dead. They spot a couple of water bottles and hiding. At least they tried to hide the water bottles behind their leg. But you can still peek out a little bit there. But that's like, that's it. Crucify them. And any show, like any of things like that is, if they're not doing the job, then it's open season. If they're doing the job, then yeah, we'll forgive a few things here, Because there was all kinds of things where on the original series where there would be actual production goofs, where something shouldn't have happened, like a wrong sound effect, or they leave out a line of dialogue on the overdub, and we let it go because otherwise the show was still entertaining. Like I did one thing how it should have gone, with the Corbomite maneuver, where Sulu's still doing his countdown thing. It was 1 minute, and at the same time, Baylock's supposed to go 1 minute, and that's what Sulu's responding. He said, "I knew he would." That's what he's talking about. That's what he's responding to. And in remastering and fixing the episodes, I really didn't have any excuse to not put that, because that line is in the next week's trailer advertising, Corbomite movies, and the thing is, that 1 minute is in there. Fairly clean. There's some music, and you can clean that up easy now. So they got very little excuse to not put that back in there. They're fixing the sound effects. Why not fix some of the sound? The visual effects. They should have fixed some of the sound effects too, because there were a few boners here and there. In fact, for that matter, they did do a thing where, because originally, Balance of Terror. Whoops, what do we got here? Not showing up here. All right, there we go. 20th century, they did 2 more spin-offs in the series, so they will open. Well, with Discovery, again, it looks like the money is not there for a 3rd season. The renewal is meaningless because they can't afford to do a 3rd season now. Probably because Patrick Stewart's paycheck kind of takes precedence. Picard has to be a hit, or at least successful, or that's it. They're dead in the water. And because of that, it's like there's no money left for Discovery. It would be like I kept joking about, 3rd season's got to be just be the whole bunch of them sitting around the bridge eating pudding because that's all they can afford to do. When you run stock footage of a flyby and them sitting there, there's good pudding. That's it. Yeah. So they're, Discovery going to that wormhole. That's the last we're going to see of that show, that bunch. And for the most part, then get profits. There we go. Yeah. But as far as someone forgetting a coffee cup on the thing, it's like stuff like that really has been happening for as long as there's in movies. One of the more famous ones is Gone with the Wind. When hello Richie Poole, yeah, Gone with the Wind. When the scene where Red is sweeping up Scarlet in the feet and taking her up the stairs to ravage her. Apparently, someone left a Coke bottle on the set. On a table, there's a Coke bottle, and somebody got some money for it because there's some kind of reward system in place. And this was years and years later, someone finally caught it. But I'll go look at it myself. But yeah, apparently it's a fairly famous blooper type thing. Yes, Coca-Cola was from Atlanta. And thank you, Perseus the Cat. $10 super chat. Yes, take it'll show up on this thing here. Yeah. Yeah, too, as I respect this story, Well, Roddenberry himself, it was on a convention up here. I saw the tape of it. I think it was at a con I was at, but I wasn't there that day. But anyway, he was talking about, all these stories are important points he was making, but it has to be entertaining, or it doesn't matter because no one's going to hear your damn point. Because no one's going to watch. So. I hadn't heard that about Shatner. I don't doubt it, but And also, Robert Downey Jr. There was a food chain in Hollywood, and it varies from point to point of how good was your last movie type thing. What was your last how big was your last project? And Shatner hasn't. I think he doesn't really want to do this anymore. I mean, it's not up to, in order to get up to his standards of playing Kirk, he's like, it's going to take some bucks, guys. Okay. Remember, he's energetic as all hell. He'll outlive the rest of us probably, but he is still in his, middle late 80s now. Okay? He was like a few years older than my mom, and mom, and he's in it. He's up. He's getting close. He's closer to 90 than anything. So yeah, that extra level of dopamine in the system keeps him alert and sharp and everything else, but the rest of the body didn't necessarily keep it up. Okay. Something floating under in the shadows. Okay. But yeah, yeah, normally you'd think that, but it depends on the movie and depends on the actor too. Okay, something just happened. All right, just did that other. Doesn't want to charge anymore. Okay. Well, Shatner, only for a Star Trek movie could he demand $50 million. Because he knows it's like you're either getting him or you forget it, you know. Because, you know, say what you will about Chris Pine or whatever, like, sorry, still not quite there. So you either get Shatner or forget it. You ain't getting Kirk. One thing I thought would be fun, and you never know, they might just, you know, go down this path a bit, is it may even throw in a commentary about the whole Phantom situation, but I think it'd be fun to have Vic Mignogna show up on the Orville as kind of a slightly crazed starship captain that Ed Mercer has to bring to heel. And part of the resolution is you bring in this captain's father as an admiral, played by Bill Shatner. Now that they could probably do, and probably get Shatner for cheap, too, you know. Especially, it would probably just be a cameo on a screen saying, "Junior, get your button gear." And you watch Vic go nuts. But Dad, no. Your kitty. Yes, kitty's had a bit of a hard day today. Mainly the end of the day. All right. Well, let's be honest. Captain April had one animated episode, and it was not one of the lesser episodes of the entire series. I mean, you had some lovely information there, but, you know, it was there when they were assembling assembling the components in San Francisco Navy Yards, and, you know, wherever I've gone, this bridge has always felt like home. And you find out his wife was a chief medical officer and stuff, but then it goes off the rails when you start getting that negative universe thing. And that was a case of I much preferred Alan Dean Foster's adaptation for the Star Trek Log series, because in his version they don't go back in the transporter; they stay young, you know. Which makes the when the word comes through that we decided not to hold the retirement, you can do whatever we want. Great, because I'm 35 again. Okay, what just happened here? All right. I'm going to run something here real quick. Okay. All right. I think we're just going to... All right. Let me just do a quick check of the pages here. I'm sure. All right. I use the timer thing. All right, Kat, you can pass me the air conditioner for me. Yes, welcome to Florida. It's midnight. We're still on run the air conditioner. It's still muggy as hell. Yeah, that Section 31 is still pretty much a hypothetical. Because there is no series order. And Captain Giorgio went into the far, far future with the Discovery. So how the hell are they going to have a Section 31 show with her? Unless they can somehow bring her back. Well, again, it was just the light. And then I had the map light going. And I guess it's the timer on the thing. Still discovering things about this vehicle. Cat's restless. Yeah, it was like 90 degrees today. So, and most of the day, the cat's in the vet clinic, and they got, letting him stay in a cage there during the day. So he's nice and air conditioned. But unfortunately, they close early. It's on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So he had to come back out while it was still pretty hot. So he didn't like that, and I didn't like having to do it. But yeah, well. Kurtzman's pattern, he did this the same thing when he was supposedly doing more, Universal's, dark universe. He'd throw up like a half dozen different projects. He even cast them. He had the leads for all these things lined up. And they did a big picture for Vanity Fair. This is dark, Universal's new Dark Universe, and then none of them have been made. None of them are going to be made because the Mummy crashed and burned so bad it probably did major damage to the studio's viability. Actually, I've been talking Starfleet Academy since before Next Gen. That was Harv Bennett's idea that kind of got him fired because he wanted to do a Starfleet Academy thing. But he wanted to do the Starfleet Academy thing basically like JJ did, where here's where they all meet. No, no. God, no. They did not meet all at the same time. I don't know why people insist on trying to do that. Because the way it works, and there's also a thing of like, I don't think it was considered that McCoy ever went to the academy at all. He was a doctor beforehand, and he signed in the Starfleet Medical Corps after the divorce. That part they did get from JJ. They kind of got there, except for I left my bones. Where the hell did that come from? But I think the general thing with McCoy is he basically he signs a Starfleet, goes through like an ROT, like a officer training course, like a 6-week thing, through Starfleet, and he's sort of the Starfleet Medical Corps, but he didn't go to the academy. Now, I would still avoid a Starfleet Academy series unless it's done really right, and I don't see him doing it right, especially not with this bunch of idiots. Oh, God, no. I just thought it's all a bunch of Gilmore Girls, right? Oh, it would be a freaking disaster if they let these guys loose at Star Academy. Any period, frankly. It would just, no. This bunch of writers would make a hash of it. We'd be lucky if it would just be, Animal House on in space. They're most likely, it'd probably be a 90210 situation with the phasers. It's like, no, please God, no. Kind of goes into that whole, lawless teen story on Nickelodeon with them. They find a ship. And it's like, oh, stop it. Calm down, you. But, just putting aside the whole idea that Federation society would have kind of a lawless teen situation, because it's juvenile delinquency, I think, would be something to be gone by that time for the most part. But just the very premise, they find a derelict Starfleet ship. I don't think Starfleet would let any of their ships go lost for any amount of time. And they did. Let's just assume they do find a Starfleet vessel that's been abandoned somewhere, derelict. Regardless of what time period this ship is from and what time period they fire it up in, it could be the NX-04 and it's post-Nemesis. They fire that sucker up. They get it working somehow. How these kids are going to get the ship working, I don't know. But apparently Kurtzman thinks it's Star Wars. Oh, flip a switch. Oh, no. A little more to it than that. But let's assume they do. That ship's up and running. That transponder is going to come on. It's going to alert Starfleet to its position. They're going to come in. And yeah, that's what we're talking about here. Well, I don't think that's what's going to happen, but But they fire this ship up. The transport is going to let Starfleet know where they're at. They're going to send a ship out to retrieve this thing. They fire up the command codes. They shut that ship down remotely, and guess what? All those lawless teens are now under arrest for piracy. All right. Oops. Now I got to plug back in. All right. There we go. Okay. Are we charging? No, we're not charging. What happened here? We might be talking a Dutch angle here for Bitsing. Come on. Come on, you. Get up there. Okay, hold on. There you go. All right, we're charging. All right. Whoops. Something happened. Oh. Calm down. It's okay. It's all right. Okay. I think we're live again. Okay. Yourself. No. No. See when it comes back. Jones, come on. You better not be pissing back there, cat. Come on. Come here. Come on. Get over here. All right. All right. Yeah. All right, so we're back. At least John Hirosa here. Yeah. Okay. Folks come back, I guess. All right. Cat, get over here. Come here. Come here. Come on. Get over here, you. Come on. Get back here, you. You need to get, come on. You need to calm down. Okay? Shh. Stop it. You're not hot. You are not hot. You know it. Okay. You plant yourself right here. Okay? Right on my pillow, you little creep. Okay, where are we at? Hey, come on. All right. He's down to a healthy weight now, I think. So. All right, we were talking about, I think, these lawless teens who are going to get, busted for piracy if they actually, if they were actually doing this in the proper Star Trek universe. Because they would not last 10 minutes once they get within range of a Federation communications beacon and then pick up that transponder and say, hey, we found your ship. They seem to, these guys seem to think that it's just, it's like Star Wars. You find a ship, you can fire it up and run around the galaxy and free and clear. No, you can't do that. I mean, we got transponders on ships and planes today. You can't get away with that crap, okay? So, no. The best thing that can happen is that merger goes through and everything gets, Kurtzman and his bunch gets shown the other side of the gate at Paramount and bye, Time to rehire some people and know what the hell they're doing. Okay, we got 3 people. Spread the word. We're back on. And listen, my personal take is they really want to win back the fan base, and they really want to, make a go at it with CBS All Access. Do a 5th season of Enterprise. Get everyone back in. They can. Yeah. It wouldn't matter if it was, pre-Enterprise. Even those ships would have transponders. Okay. They would, get within range of a communications beacon and guess what they say? Help! I'm being pirated. A bunch of lawless teens are taking over my control. Somebody help. Oh, God. And I don't know what kind of messages they're supposed to be sending to kids with this kind of show anyway. It's like, oh, piracy can be fun. You find somebody else's ship, just take it. It's there. But, oh, God. But like I said, it's like when you got a situation where nothing's going right, nobody cares, nobody likes what's going on, you're going to get jumped on from every corner for every little mistake. Well, I think they'd want to, nobody liked that ending, for one thing. That's a big inducement to come back and think, how about if we, we'll pay a bunch of money, it's only been about 10, 12 episodes, it'll be a short season. We can shoot around the hiatuses of, like in the case of Bacula, be during the hiatus of NCS New Orleans. The rest of them, I'm like nobody else that I know of has a regular gig. They're all back to doing just guest spots here and there. So the only one I think that really have a conflict, for the most part, would be Scott Bakula. So again, now his main thing would be during NCS New Orleans hiatus. The rest of them is like you slot them in, you shoot around, you work them, And the first thing is you totally invalidate and remove these are the voyages from the canon, completely. So that you chalked that up, and that was a mistake. And no one liked that episode. And even the Berman and Braga apologized for that one. Said we're sorry. We were trying to do a Valentine for the entire for the fan, and it didn't work out very well. It's like, Frakes and Curtis felt like, we're intruding on their show. We're turning their finale into a Next Gen episode. I didn't like that. And no one on the... Now, like I say, it'd be, you do it during the hiatus of NCS New Orleans. You give them that 5th season to wrap up properly. Maybe, get that and build it up right up to the Romulan War. And you want to do a proper series finale for Enterprise. Then you do, maybe, after, you do, one season with the refit thing with the secondary hull on there. You have some adventures on that. You build up to the Romulan War. And whether you actually, I wouldn't actually go into the Romulan War itself. I would just sort of do a thing. Because everyone knows the good guys win anyway. What? Something locked up? We know the Earth forces win. At the foundation of the Federation, you do a montage or a crawl or something, or then you come back, and then you bring up with Archer. Come on, you're fine. We're fine, cat. But the final moments for Enterprise should be nice, elderly, 100-something-plus-year-old Jonathan Archer is there for the launch of the new Constitution-class USS Enterprise. handed off the reins to Captain April and his crew. And, well, no, they die shortly thereafter, but that's the main thing. That's how you transition right there. But you also leave it vague enough that if you do want to do a Romulan War series, you slot in there, okay? Whether or not there was a Daedalus class Enterprise, who the hell knows? Or did the NX-01 serve through the war? That's something to figure out for later. But that, or entirely possible the NX-01, served as a training vessel during that time, so the name is in active commission, so they couldn't, Again, I would not destroy the NX-01. No, and they wouldn't necessarily put that ship out there, if they didn't have to, because that was the prototype. That was the first one. I think odds are you would have the Daedalus class be the the big ships for the Romulan War, because that's that right period, and some other classes on there, but these big more dedicated warships. The NX-01, the NX class. I don't think they would really be, fighting the war so much. They'd be able to defend themselves pretty much, but they wouldn't be frontline ships, I think. And I think I could easily see the Enterprise being pulled back and used as a training vessel, or a cadet training vessel. Because you'd have the Starfleet Academy just really starting up around this point, too. And there was a painting in one of the ships of the line calendars of the NX-02 crashed on a planet, where they found a couple hundred years later there's runabouts around, the next gen era crewmen trying to figure out what happens. I happen to because actually on the message boards and the Trick BBS stuff. I got damn lucky one time at the local thrift store. Because my 1350 NX-01 has been kind of on hold there because I somewhere on the move lost a couple of key pieces. Well, at this thrift store, I found the 1350 NX-01 kit and also that clear Ambassador Yamaguchi. Oh, here we go again. Thing's overheating. Get off the screen. Come on. Yes, okay, come on. They do like pretty good stuff, but I suspect, by the time the NX-01's probably in the Fleet Museum, right next to another Constitution, to a Constitution class and a Daedalus. Now, I suspect Daniel, the last thing we saw of him was when Archer wrapped up the temporal Cold War. Listen, if you have to have an explanation for these alternate timelines and the origin points, I figure that's as good a spot as any. When they essentially hit the big red reset button and put an end to the temporal Cold War, that fracture the timelines, and that's where you get these things spreading out. You still got your main timeline going off, and I think I'm resigned to Enterprise being canon and not really disrupting that much. What little sniggling things there we can blame on the aftereffects of the temporal Cold War for the most part, but or also just stupid things that are not really out of line with real life. I mean, you could kind of stretch it a bit of why they didn't, why when in Balance of Terror they weren't aware of the Romulans' cloaking technology. That sort of thing you could possibly kind of chalk up to it being classified to a point where they just, it was left out of the official reports. And it had been 100 years, so no one bothered to put it back in the reports afterwards that they have this capability, because no one's seen a Romulan in 100. No one ever. They don't know if they even seen a Romulan at all. No one's seen a Romulan ship in a century. So who knows what the hell's going on? So it's just one of those things that never came up. Stupid things happen, you know. All right. Okay, the phone is shutting down, so I think we're gonna have to wrap this up about here because it's getting overheated and certain thing I don't want to, merging the timelines. I don't want to see that because then you're mixing the garbage in with the good stuff. You know, it's like no. Discovery and its ilk are best left on the trash heap of history. No, go away. We have good Star Trek. We don't need to mixing bad Star Trek just because it's there. Okay. That's kind of why I fucked in this thing of, you got, like timeline chart that Midnight's Edge adopted, which I'm kind of flattered with. But you got the original timeline up top, where you got Enterprise, and then you got the barrier in between. That's the divide really they really created for themselves when they started doing what they did with the JJ Trek movies and Discovery. Because they're irreconcilable. I call it the license because I was going to think that these are separate licenses. They never the twain shall meet. But even if they're not, it's like they've made the show completely irreconcilable with the established record. So whether there's a legal barrier or not, those shows do not mix. Okay, there's no way to mix them, and let's leave it that way. Now, I think the thing is, what we're mainly hoping with the merger is that it gets back under one roof and one studio controlling the whole thing, so they don't have to pull these stupid stunts of separate licensing and making sure that 25% difference has to be invoked all the time. It's like you don't need it anymore. And I think a large part of it is whether it's a legal thing with or it's just like Rob Burnett points out with the JJ Star Wars stuff, subtle changes for merchandising purposes. You give the Millennium Falcon rectangular dish on there so that you can put that's JJ's Millennium Falcon. You give a 3PO a red arm. That's JJ's 3PO. That's a separate merchandising thing that he gets a piece of. What the hell was that? I think I'm so loud. Because if they just had 3PO show up like normal, or if they put another round dish on the Falcon, it's like he doesn't get a piece of that. So there's, it's a cynical thing, but that, show business is a cynical business. You calm down now. Well, like I said, at this point, the merger is mainly just the hope that at least they have a chance that they can right the ship. There's still a chance that the merger comes through and they're still idiots. But right now, there really is nothing much that can be done because of the stupid, separation of the rights. As long as that's in place, then yeah, it's going to get strange. It's going to, kind of these separate things. The canon is going to be kind of, frozen in amber. And the stuff that's progressing now is just, there's garbage from Kurtzman and his very band of morons who couldn't write their way, into a bag. Like I said, like Random said, they can't write themselves into a bag. Never mind, write themselves back out. Now, what the hope is of the merger is that, nobody will owe Kurtzman a thing at that point. Because so far, what was keeping Kurtzman afloat for the most part is the fact that he was, he was Les Moonvez's guy, and Moonvez was the main guy protecting Discovery because that was his brainchild. He's gonna do this stuff right now, and he doesn't know diddly squat about sci-fi or what makes it work. He thought he'd be bought the thing that Star Trek was a cheap show. No, it wasn't, Les. It was not. It was not. They didn't have enough money for what they needed, but that was the most expensive show on TV at the time. The budget at the time was the equivalent of like $1 million today for per episode. So cost-wise, it was really comparable to Next Gen and every other show because all of them were around $1 million an episode. In '66, it was about $186,000 an episode. And this thing is still going weird on me here. Yeah. Okay, we've been at it for almost an hour. This thing is going to go weird on me here, so. And, whoop, something buzzed. Everyone's going live now. Why? I don't need competition right now. Yeah. What is that charge at? Ooh, that's not good. All right. I'm going to be forced to shut this down for one because, the phone's overheating. It won't take a charge, and it's down to 2% charge right now. So we're going to have to wrap this up here. So links are on my, for donation stuff is on my, the main channel page. I will put up links later in the description when this thing gets posted. But I'm still needing money for Kingsland this coming weekend. Just need like a $200-300 really to cover gas, the hotel, and for food. It's looking probably I'll be going by myself at this point, but I will have access to a very good camera. So if you're seeing this later, the links will be down below in the description as soon as I can get probably in the morning, or I'll put something right up here in the chat. Main thing we need is for about that me. That's the biggie right there. Yeah, I'm down to 1%. I'm going to wrap it up at there. You're at the link there in the chat. I will put more of the links down below, but that's the big one there. All you really need is just a decent connection and a webcam. And there's plenty of tutorials on there, but a lot of it's just figure what kind of video you want to do. I'm bouncing around a little bit, but for the most part, it's just me complaining about stuff and trying to get some traction on it. But you got to figure out what kind of videos you're good at. Not everyone's good at everything else. Yeah. But you do watch a lot of things, study. When you do that link there, you're gonna want to put that make that H a lowercase h, because I don't think it's going to work too well with the capital H there. Yeah, most part, just, what you feel comfortable with. It's like, one of the reasons I avoid the politics stuff is besides, being divisive as all hell. It's like, there's plenty of people out there doing the political stuff better than I frankly could, okay? And you don't need me out there basically copying someone else, okay? You don't need another, I won't name names because that'll be telling, but no. There's plenty of political charge, and they don't need me joining in. But on the Star Trek side, I think there's a niche there. It'd be nice if I could actually get some traction with the subscriber base too. But I wouldn't be surprised if CBS is doing things to keep me from spreading much. Go on. But yeah, this thing is about to probably go up. Yeah, this poor phone is about to go belly up for the night, so probably better wrap it up about an hour. That's that's a decent amount there. Because also it's like I don't know. I'm not in a position to be doing stuff like Doomcock or like Fired, but I'm not going to see that money until next month. Okay. This is where we really need is hitting the PayPal here. So that's about it. We will catch you later. And yeah, well, catch you later then.